Carl Jung was one of the most important thinkers in modern psychology. He taught us that we should choose ourselves even when everything around us seems to push us in the opposite direction. When was the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror and asked, am I really living the life I want? Not the life that others expect of me or the one that seems right in the eyes of society, but the one that truly resonates with my soul. The world we live in is carefully made to keep you busy and stuck in routines, expectations, and a never-ending stream of tasks that you can't get out of. As soon as you wake up, you are surrounded by outside forces that tell you how to act, what to aim for, and even what success should look like. These include work, family duties, and social norms. There is a truth that many people refuse to see, though. Whenever you put others before yourself, you are telling your inner self that its needs, wants, and facts are not important. That quiet voice in the back of your mind that keeps trying to lead you to a more real and satisfying life is not being listened to. Jung thought that our link to the unconscious is not something we can choose not to have. It is an important part of who we are. That being said, a lot of people avoid it, push it aside, or turn it off because facing it can be awkward. That uneasy feeling you get when something in your life doesn't seem right, that's not a coincidence. That sound is your soul trying to tell you that something needs to change, even though the thought of it scares you. Now, take a moment to think about how many of the choices you've made recently were based on trust and how many were based on fear. Fear of letting people down, fear of going against the grain, fear of being uncomfortable, or fear of leaving behind what is familiar. Jung wants us to think about this a lot because he knew a general truth. Choices that aren't based in your inner truth lead to chaos and separation. You will feel more lost the farther away you are from yourself. But let's be clear about something important. Picking yourself doesn't mean turning down other people. This isn't about being selfish or not caring about the people around you. Being at peace with yourself is the first thing that you need to do to be your best self in front of other people. This is the basic idea behind self-love, which Jung wrote a lot about. Self-love isn't a waste of time or an escape from your obligations. It is the base on which all real and meaningful relationships are built. When you decide to put yourself first, your energy changes in a big way. You start to attract things and people that are in line with who you really are. When you choose to live in truth, it's like the world responds by getting rid of what doesn't serve you and bringing you what you need to grow. But to get to this state, you have to face your fears, which are the parts of yourself that you have ignored, pushed down, or been afraid of. Jungian analyst Carl Jung said that the shadow is the secret part of our minds that holds all the things we don't want to see about ourselves. And while it can be uncomfortable to face your shadow, it is in this encounter that real change starts. This is because you find an inner power you didn't know you had when you stop fighting your fears and learn to accept them. Getting everything to work together doesn't happen fast. Being brave, patient, and determined to understand yourself are all things you need. But what you get in return is priceless. Clarity, the power to see through the lies you used to believe. Purpose is giving your life a new sense of direction and meaning. Inner peace is a deep sense of calm that can't be shaken by outside chaos. You learn to say no to things that don't make you feel good without feeling guilty, afraid, or worried about what other people will think. The most important thing is that you become free to be yourself. The answer to your question, how do I start this journey, is much easier than you think. First, pay attention to yourself. What is my unconscious trying to tell me? Should be the first thing you ask yourself. Whenever you feel uncomfortable, uncertain, or a strong emotion, as Jung once said, the solutions you seek outside of yourself are already inside you. You just need to be brave enough to listen and determined enough to do what they say. In life, it can be hard to follow our gut, especially when it takes us in a direction that goes against everything we've built. There's a chance it's a relationship you know is over. It's possible that you can't leave a job that makes you feel tired. You might have been chasing a dream because it seemed like the right thing to do. Jung tells us that ignoring these signs is not a sign of power, but of denying who we really are. And it's not always easy to let go of things that don't make you happy when you choose to be yourself. We hold on to what we know because we are afraid of change. We tell ourselves, better the devil you know than the one you don't. But Jung tells us to see change not as the end, but as a way to become a more true version of ourselves. So think about what you're hanging on to that isn't helping you anymore. What ideas, habits, or relationships do you hold on to because you're afraid? You might think it's a loss to let go of some people or situations, but the real loss is when you give up your peace of mind to hold on to something that no longer means anything to you. You always have a choice. And right now, am I ready to truly choose myself? Might be the most important thing you can ask yourself. Making a choice to be yourself is not selfish. It's an act of deep love and respect for who you are. That putting our own needs first is somehow a rejection of the people around us is something that society has taught us for too long. In fact, it's not at all like that. Something truly magical starts to happen when you finally make the choice to choose yourself. It's like a fog that was blocking your view starts to lift, and you can see things clearly for the first time in a long time. Friends and family who really care about you stay by your side, while those who drain your energy and never really valued you start to fade away. And this isn't an accident, it's a direct result of an internal change that brought your inner world and outer reality into line. This is what Carl Jung called synchronicity, the strange but undeniable link between your feelings, thoughts, and the events that happen in your life. As soon as you start living in line with your truth, the outside world changes to reflect that change. Your environment seems to change to meet how real you are as a response from the universe. But this process needs you to be completely honest with yourself, which is something that many people find hard. Making brave choices and setting clear limits are not the only ways to choose yourself. In some cases, it also means facing painful truths about your life. It's possible that the decisions you've made don't really show who you are. You may have let people cross the line and given up your own health and happiness to please them. You may have said yes to things you knew you should have turned down, because you didn't want to let other people down. The important thing is that this is not a reason to judge yourself. Instead, it is a chance to learn, take a fresh look at things, and make a different decision going forward. Jung thought that being authentic is not a place you get to, but a path you take all the time. You learn, change, and grow into the best form of yourself through this process. And you will run into trouble on this road. There will be times when you question yourself, and old habits will want to tempt you back to old ways of doing things just because they feel good. But keep this in mind, you can't grow when you're in your safe zone. When you dare to go beyond what you know and into the unknown, you go through the most deep changes. People around you won't always understand why you chose to be yourself. You will have people criticize you, question your decisions, and even pull away from you because you no longer live up to their standards. Also, this can be painful, because when you choose to be yourself, you stop looking for approval from other people. You start to understand that what you think about yourself is more important than what other people think of you. That doesn't mean you have to shut yourself off from the people around you. Not at all, in fact. Your relationships change in ways you never thought possible when you choose to be yourself. No longer do you want to be liked. Now you want to connect with real people. You're no longer happy with shallow exchanges. You want deep connections that feed your soul. You also learn something beautiful. The right people will always be there for you, not because they need you, but because they love you just the way you are. The world around you changes as you start to live from a place of reality. It's not magic or a trick. It's how your inner and outer worlds work together to make you strong. Jung talked a lot about how our minds reflect our inner states onto the outside world. If you are in conflict with yourself, you will draw conflict from other people. If you reject yourself, other people will reject you in different ways. If you choose to be yourself and fully accept and love who you are, though, You will start to notice that the people and things around you change too. It takes time for this change to happen. But with any process, you need to be patient and dedicated to see it through. There will be days when you feel like you're going backwards, and your old habits will try to come back. The real test, though, is how strong you are in your decision to choose yourself, even when it's hard or lonely. People praise effort, but at what cost? Not everyone will agree with your decision to put yourself first. People in our world think it's great to give everything for others, even if it means putting our own health and happiness at risk. Things go wrong when we pour from a cup that isn't full, though. When we give so much that we lose ourselves, what happens? It's not selfish to choose yourself. You'll have to. Why? Because you can only give from a place of wealth instead of depletion when you are whole and in touch with your truth. Don't be afraid to pick yourself every day. Not just when things are really important, but also when making small choices. And wait for your life to start changing in ways you never thought possible. But Jung taught us something very important. We can't give what we don't have. Offering something that isn't real, like your happiness, energy, or inner peace, to please other people isn't what you're doing. Eventually, that imbalance will show up in your life as emotional exhaustion, unhappiness, or even a feeling of emptiness. Take a moment to think about the people you're with now. How many of them make you feel good, inspire you, or calm you down? How many of them make you feel tired, confused, or mentally drained? Jung wants us to think about this because our relationships are more than just social links. They are like screens that show us how we're feeling on the inside. This means that the people we choose to be close to show what our views, values, and emotional patterns are. There's a chance that you let someone cross your limits over and over again, not because they are bad, but because you haven't learned how to protect yourself yet. Being greedy is not the same thing as setting limits, it's self-love. Jung thought that our unconscious mind is always trying to help us be healthy, but most of the time we don't pay attention to its messages. It's not a coincidence that you feel tired after dealing with certain people. Your unconscious is telling you that the relationship is not in line with who you really are. And if you keep ignoring these signs, your peace of mind will always be paid for. Setting limits is part of choosing to be yourself. Limits shouldn't be seen as walls that keep people out, but as bridges that lead to healthier, more genuine relationships. You say yes to your truth, your dreams, and your well-being when you say no to things that don't help you. This doesn't mean you should cut ties with everyone, but you should be honest with yourself about which relationships make you feel good and which ones make you feel bad. Something amazing starts to happen as you start to live from this place of authenticity. Your gut gets stronger. That voice inside you that seemed weak or uncertain at first starts to guide you more clearly. You start to make decisions that not only make sense but also feel good in your heart. When you choose to be yourself, you connect with your intuition, the inner compass that has always been there, ready for you to trust it. Jung said that intuition was one of the most pure ways to connect with the mind. That feeling in your gut that you can't explain when something either feels right or doesn't, but you have to turn off all the other sounds around you to really hear it. In other words, you have to stop wanting other people to like you, stop caring about what other people think, and learn to trust yourself. Because nobody else can really know what's best for you in the end. You send a strong message to the world when you choose yourself. I am ready to live in alignment with my truth, and the universe responds. All of a sudden you start to attract people, chances, and events that are a good fit for who you are. While this doesn't mean that life won't have problems, those problems will no longer feel like they're always there. Instead, they will be used as stepping stones and chances to learn more about yourself, grow, and change. When you choose to live in sincerity, you start to experience synchronicity, which is something Jung talked about. The seemingly random but perfectly timed events that happen in your life are not just accidents. They are a direct mirror of how you are aligned inside. When you are at peace with yourself, the outside world starts to agree with you too. It's like magic, doors open on their own, the right people show up at the right time, and things start to flow in ways that didn't seem possible before. This is what it means to accept yourself as you are. The outside world answers well when you take care of your inner world. You will feel more fulfilled and at peace when you know you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Everything seems to work out for you when you choose to be yourself and follow your truth. The right chances come up without any trouble. The right people show up at the right time, and things start to flow in a way that didn't seem possible before. You feel like the very fabric of reality changes to fit your new sense of purpose. All of a sudden, something that seemed impossible to reach is now within your grasp. But this doesn't mean there won't be anything in the way. In fact, when you choose to be yourself, you face some of the biggest problems. It's like the world is so used to the version of you that tried to please everyone else that it suddenly doesn't want you to change and tries to see how committed you are. Things that other people expect of you might feel like they are pulling you back into old habits. There will be times when you have questions and fears, and you will want to go back to what you know. This is where your real power is. Every time you remind yourself of your choice and put your own happiness ahead of what other people want, you are getting closer to your true self. It's important to stay strong, even when doubts start to show up. When you leave behind what you know, even if you know it no longer helps you, it's normal to feel scared. But keep this in mind, every time you stay somewhere that doesn't make you happy, you shut the door on something that could completely change you. The great psychologist Carl Jung told us that people don't always want to change, but that doesn't mean they are doing something wrong. Instead, it shows that you are making progress. That's what makes the old and the new, who you were and who you are becoming, rub against each other. Deeply reflecting on yourself is one of the best ways to get past this block. What do you really value? What do I care about most? How do I want my life to be? It is much easier to make choices that are in line with your ideals and goals once you are clear on them. As you do this, you start to draw people and situations that have the same energy. The world around you changes based on how you feel inside. Also, keep in mind that you are not going through this trip by yourself. At first, choosing to be yourself might feel like a lonely thing to do, but in reality, you are paving the way for the right people to come along, the ones who will support, praise, and walk with you. There is no need for you to change to fit in with these people. They will accept you just the way you are because they have also chosen to live in line with their truth. When you get to this point, you'll never be the same again. Life doesn't feel like a never-ending battle anymore. Making choices that used to be hard to do now comes with confidence and clarity. Also, and most importantly, you find peace that doesn't depend on what's going on around you. Jung told us that real peace can only come from inside. That peace of mind comes naturally when you respect your boundaries, honor your needs, and live in line with your beliefs. Of course, it's not just a gift for yourself. You can give it to everyone. People are more likely to follow your lead when you live your life honestly. Other people who are still looking for their own way can see how brave you are. In the process, you don't just change your own life, you also have a huge effect on the lives of those around you. Think about what your life would be like if you got rid of everything that isn't helping you. How would you feel if you let go of the commitments that don't make you feel good, the relationships that drain your energy, and the standards that you never really wanted to meet? Picture the freedom, lightness, and clarity that you could feel. This is not an impossible dream, it is a real option that you can easily reach. Being ready to choose yourself is all it takes. Since you've already made this choice, you can see that letting go of what doesn't work for you doesn't cost you anything. Instead, you're making room for what really counts. You are making a life for yourself that not only makes sense but also gives you joy and means something. That's a change that's worth welcoming on its own. This is the gift Jung wanted all of us to find, the deep understanding that we start to change when we stop looking outside of ourselves for something that has always been inside us. When we decide to live our lives from an honest place, accepting who we really are instead of the person we were taught to be. And when this happens, something amazing happens. You start to feel truly alive. Everyone else's standards no longer hold you back, and society's strict rules on who you should be, how you should act, and what success means no longer have power over you. Instead, you start to listen to that voice inside you that has always been there, telling you to look deeper and realize that something better is waiting for you if you are brave enough to go after it. This freedom feeling is worth a lot. You feel like a big weight has been lifted off your shoulders. You can breathe fully, deeply, and freely, maybe for the first time in a very long time. But getting this freedom takes a lot of bravery. It requires you to face both the outside forces that have shaped your life and the fears, doubts, and limited beliefs that have kept you from moving forward. Jung told us that our worst enemy is not something outside of us, but something inside us. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if I disappoint others? Is what that voice keeps telling you. But here's the secret that most people don't know. That voice is not your truth. You have been conditioned to feel that way over the course of your life, so it's just a mirror of what you have been through in the past. Every time you face your fear and do something anyway, you are slowly taking down those limiting beliefs, making room for something new to come into being. This is what it means to truly choose yourself. As soon as you make this choice, you break free from the chains that you has not seen. Something amazing starts to happen as you walk further down this road. Things that used to be very important to you, like the need to show your worth, the need to be liked, and the never-ending search for approval, start to lose their power over you. There is no longer a need for you to compare, compete, or fit in. In its place, you find deep satisfaction in just being yourself. And when you're being true to yourself, you find your true power. You can't control other people with this power. It's not about authority or force. Strong power comes from being in touch with your inner self, the part of you that knows what you need and who you are. It is a force that is quiet and steady, but it can't be stopped, because nothing and no one can get in the way of your path when you are in tune with yourself and stand in your truth. This process is wonderful because it changes not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. People can see what it means to be real in you when you choose to be yourself. You inspire people not by teaching or persuading them, but just by being. People are moved by just being around you to question their own views, face their fears, and live in their own truth. This is something that Carl Jung really got. He knew that each person's change had an impact on others, and that each person's choice to be true led to a shift in consciousness for everyone. Because when we live from who we really are, everything changes. Our neighborhoods, our relationships, and even the world moves. But don't get it wrong, this trip isn't going in a straight line. There will be days when you feel strong, in charge, and in touch with yourself. On other days, doubt will set in, making it hard to see clearly. On those days, you'll question everything. These times of doubt are not signs that you will fail. They are an important part of the process. Jung thought of them as chances to get closer to yourself, to think, to learn, and to grow. Every problem and failure is a chance to let go of the old, grow, and get closer to your true self. At times when the road seems unclear, it's important to remember this: you are not alone. At first, the path to authenticity may seem lonely, but you will always find people, experiences, and tools that help you along the way. The more you accept yourself as you are, the more you connect with people whose energy you like. That's when the journey stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like going home. It could be a book, a talk, or even a video like this one that comes to you just when you need it. These events are not just random. They are signs from the world that you are on the right track. Every second, choice you've made, and problem you've solved has brought you to this very moment. Even though the future may not be clear, one thing is certain: as long as you keep choosing yourself, you will be making a life that is worth living.
Being yourself, without any shame, is the best gift you can give yourself. Not the version of yourself that other people expect from you, or the one you made up to fit in, but your true self, the one you show yourself to yourself when no one is looking. Carl Jung once said that the real work of life is not to look for things outside of ourselves, but to figure out the deep secrets that live inside us. When you finally decide to accept yourself, you realize something very important. Everything you've been looking for has always been inside you.
This is in order to do something. Life is too short to keep needing approval from other people, to ignore your own wants and dreams, and to live your life based on what other people expect of you. Now is the time to take the first step. Today is the day to face your fears, face your worries, and pay attention to the small voices inside your head. Right now is the time to get back in touch with your true self. You change more than just your own life when you choose to be yourself. You change the world around you, your mood changes, your view of things broadens, and people who come across you start to be inspired just by being there. What's going to happen next? Right now is the time to think about what you just heard. Ask yourself, what parts of my life are really in line with who I am? What should I let go of in order to live a more honest life? What is stopping me from becoming the person I was always meant to be? Don't forget that every little thing counts. Every move you make that helps you be your true self is a win. Also, remember that you are not going through this process by yourself. This space, this group, this channel is here to help you learn more about yourself and to remind you of your limitless potential. If this word speaks to you, don't stop reading it now. Make it affect more than just you. Feel free to send this movie to someone who might need it, like someone who is struggling or looking for answers. They might need this moment of clarity. Every conversation is important. This word gets to more people, just like you, who are looking for a deeper connection with their true selves with each comment, like and share. Imagine what we could do if we worked together to build a community of people who are committed to living from a place of honesty, bravery, and self-acceptance. I want to hear from you now. Listen in the comments, please tell me what part of this message touched your heart. What are you going to do today to honor your true self and choose yourself? Any word you say is important to everyone on this trip, not just me. We are all looking for our own truth and clarity. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss another message like this. By working together, we can take this reflection to every corner and show it to everyone who needs to be told that the most powerful thing you can do is choose to be yourself. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hearing me. But most of all, thank you for being a part of this movement, this awakening, and this trip we're all on to find ourselves. Don't forget, you have friends and family. You are where change starts. Additionally, the world needs a lot more people who are brave enough to be themselves. Remember that life really starts when you choose to be yourself. I'll see you in the next film.